So let's start by getting the body into a suitable, serviceable posture for meditation. So we keep our feet flat and our back straight, torso upright and open, hands in the lap, right over left with the palms upturned, and the thumbs gently touching against the body or resting on the knees. Thinking mainly about not wanting to slouch or to lean, wanting to keep the body upright under its own effort, and looking through the body to see if we're holding unnecessary tension, trying to relax into the posture, letting the body just fall into place. Then try to reduce your engagement with the outside world, pulling your attention away from the room and also from preoccupations, thoughts about the past, or plans for the future. Just try to hold your mind on the physical sensations that accompany the in-breath and the out-breath, focusing on the area around the nostrils, noticing as quickly as you can when anything that isn't that present moment physical sensation is arising in the mind, and then just gently lifting your awareness without judgment or frustration from that distraction and placing it gently again on that physical sensation. Repeating that process over and over, trying to elongate the periods where you're able to hold your mind on the sensation of the air without distraction. and then establish a broad and virtuous motivation, seeing that developing your qualities is the best way to extract the real essence of your precious human life, but that it's not only for one's own benefit, because we also recognize that all sentient beings experience so many obstacles, so much suffering. So we also need to work for the benefit of others. But it's through developing our qualities that we become more and more capable of being able to do that. I think that's the real purpose of our time, to gain the skills and the abilities to help all sentient beings without exception. And today we'll contemplate the psychological process of engaging in cyclic existence. The, they call the 12 links of dependent origination, the process that we and all sentient beings are going through. It's perpetuating cyclic existence. So we think that the root of this process, the first link of this process, is what they call Malrigpa, fundamental ignorance, which isn't just a lack of knowing. That's one type of ignorance, but this type of ignorance is also characterized by an active misunderstanding, a misknowing, a wrong consciousness that views all phenomena to exist in a way in which phenomena do not exist. We give a solidity, a concreteness, an independence to all of the phenomena that we cognize. So we first think, if I never discern the true nature of reality and overcome this mistaken appearance, I will not be able to break these 12 links, the cycle of ordinary existence. So bring to mind whatever you've learned or studied on this topic and contemplate how essential it is to understand the nature of reality directly. Then the second link is compositional action. So, on the basis of ignorance, we and all beings have engaged, are engaging, and will engage in actions of body, speech, and mind, all of which are influenced by the existence of that mistaken view of concretizing that which we observe. And that creates the karmic seeds that ripen within ordinary cyclic existence. So contemplate that through my own actions that are marked by this wrong view, I create the seeds of future ordinary suffering existences. And then the third link is consciousness. So we can contemplate that each time that a compositional action is created, there are numerous seeds in the mind that remain in the mind until they're activated when the causes and the conditions ripen in the future. So we can focus on all of the lifetimes that we've had up until now, thinking about all of these dormant potentials that have remained in the mind, waiting to be activated, to ripen as future lifetimes within cyclic existence. Fourth link is called name and form. When that karmic potential is activated and a new rebirth is begun, then comes the link of name and form, which refer to the mental and physical aggregates of that new life, the mind and the body that will develop throughout that particular incarnation. So think from ripening karmic potentials, I will enter a new rebirth that has its own unique physical and mental components that are particular to that specific incarnation. So we can briefly think about all of the different realms of existence and the varieties within the realms of existence, and think that each of those incarnations is the result of a particular karmic ripening. The fifth link is the six sense spheres. We think that as that particular body and mind develops, the senses, the five bodily senses and the mental sense, consciousness, will develop and form. When the I consciousness develops, it develops in dependence upon the I sense power. The ear consciousness is developed in dependence upon the ear sense power, and so on. So So we have the sensory powers and their corresponding consciousnesses. And through that, we develop knowledge about the variety of external objects, objects of sound, objects of taste, objects of touch, and so on. And we can also think that it's quite likely that many of these objects will serve to fuel attachment, aversion, and ignorance. That by remaining in cyclic existence, when we meet with objects, many of those objects we naturally find pleasant, and that fuels attachment. Many of them we very easily find aversive, and that fuels aversion. And some of them are very neutral, and that just fuels a sense of disinterest or ignorance. And try to see how that might also continue to operate. That process of contacting objects that are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and that relationship to ignorance, attachment, and aversion is the sixth link of contact. So contemplate how in this life we become entangled, enmeshed through the process of contacting objects that are pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral, and how that deepens the tendencies of giving rise to attachment, aversion, and ignorance. And then when you're ready, we'll come back together. So we'll leave the 12 links for today and we'll do the second set of 6 links next week. There's just not time to do all 12, and we'll dedicate. So recollect your virtuous motivation, and then recollect the effort that you made in trying to become more familiar with the process that is perpetuating the obstacles that we and all sentient beings are facing. Thinking by developing that wisdom, that insight, may it lead me to an understanding of the solution, an understanding of the antidote, and may I quickly achieve that solution in my own life, but not only to put an end to my own suffering, but to be able to put an end to the suffering of all sentient beings, to lead myself out of ignorance, but also to lead all sentient beings out of ignorance. And by practicing in this way, may I create the causes and the conditions for the enlightened beings and all of my guides to remain in the world, to abide and guide and protect myself and all sentient beings. May whatever obstacles there might be to their abiding in the world be instantly pacified, completely cleared away, and may there be no obstacles to the long life of the Guru, Lama Zopa Rinpoche, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and may Geshe Cherub's healing continue and accelerate, and may his life be long and stable.
I would like to